Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Maria, and today we're talking all things travel with a toddler and how we can make that as smooth of an experience as possible. If you're new to my channel, I have a daughter who is currently 2.5 years old, and around the time that she was 2, we finally started traveling a bit with her. We first started travel by car, and we just recently traveled by plane, so I wanted to discuss all of the different things that we did to prepare her for both types of travel and what things were especially helpful. Before we talk about what we did before traveling with our toddler, during the actual travel, and once we arrived at our destination, I want to remind you that every child's temperament is incredibly different. Some children are simply going to be a lot more easygoing when it comes to travel, and some children are going to find it to be a lot more of a challenging experience. And while yes, we should prepare as much as possible on our end, some things are simply going to be out of our control. Now, one of the most important things that we can do in preparing for the trip is to let our child know exactly what they can expect in a way that's going to be approachable for them based on their current development. For an older child who understands the concept of their daily rhythm, it's great to anchor some of the things that are going to be happening to their daily routine. So when we were traveling by car, for example, I was able to let my daughter know that we would be leaving after breakfast. We would stop our travel for a lunch outside, and we made sure to find an actual rest stop that had a playground, which made it a lot easier for us to get through that longer car trip. And then she would sleep in the car, and once she would wake up, we would be at our destination. For our plane ride, on the other hand, we would be leaving incredibly early. This would still be nighttime for her. But I let her know that mom and dad will get you when you're still sleeping. We will bundle you up in the car, and you still have the option to keep sleeping if you would like. Traveling by car might not be quite as different for them versus having to go to an airport and a plane. So I really recommend getting some books for your child to look at all the different things that are going to be happening during the day of their travel. I went to our local library and I picked up literally any book that I could find that is going to talk about planes or airports or any combination of the two. Even if your child is younger, it's still great to show them these pictures and talk about in very simple terms what they can expect to see and to happen. Especially if there are some things that you know your child is not a huge fan of, it's great to address ahead of time how we can handle them. For example, recently Stella has been not a huge fan of loud noises, and obviously being on a plane was going to be not exactly quiet. So I warned her ahead of time. The airport is going to be loud because look at how many people there are on these pictures. The airplane has very large engines. Those are quite loud as well. And then the solution was that we had her headphones with us. They are kid-safe headphones, and she was able to either put them on to just block out the sound, or at least she was able to listen to music. And we let her practice these things ahead of time, so she knew going into the situation, even if something gets loud, she has a solution for it. I also made sure to point out the fact that we would sometimes have to wait in line. We might be waiting to get from point A to point B, and there would be no room for her to run around or do what she wanted until we finish going through that line. So it's not a very easy thing to expect from a toddler, especially a toddler who's been woken up from their nap or from their bedtime. So in this case, I let her know her options would be to either be in the stroller or to stand next to us. But if she is not in the stroller, she absolutely has to hold somebody's hand. And again, we referenced the books and we talked about how many people there are in the airport and the fact that it takes only a few seconds for one of us not to find the other person. Now, between my husband and I, we also decided to agree that he would be the main person responsible for keeping track of our bags and getting them all collected and situated, whereas I would be the main person focused on Stella. That way, when things got crazy at security or baggage claim or any other time throughout our travel, he knew that I have Stella under control and I knew that he has all of our bags under control. Now, I know a very common question is, what type of flight should you select? This will very much depend on your child and your child's personality, and even then, it's very hard to predict. Also, keeping in mind that delays are very possible, so even if you plan everything perfectly, there's a chance that just like us, you might have a 4-hour plus delay and then your entire plan and schedule goes out of the window. I do recommend not having a plane that lands right around bedtime because it's still going to take you time to get through the airport, get your bags, get to the hotel, settle down. Now, both of our flights were supposed to be right during Stella's nap time, which we thought would be a great option for her to sleep. On the way back, that's exactly what happened. She played for about an hour and then she took a nice nap. By the time we landed and got home, it was right around dinner time. She ate and she was ready for bed because she was incredibly exhausted. But on the way there, because we woke up so incredibly early and we had an additional 4-hour delay, she ended up taking a quick cat nap right when we finished all of our check-in process, and then she never ended up sleeping on the plane or on the ride back to the hotel or at all until it was bedtime later that day. The airport and travel in general is going to be incredibly stimulating and overwhelming for the child. It's very likely they're not going to sleep when they're inside the airport, and once they get on the plane, they may be tired enough to just completely zone out and fall asleep, or they might be so incredibly overstimulated that they just don't sleep at all. So rather than focusing on your child's nap time, I would recommend simply focusing on how much quality sleep can your child get before you get to the airport, and making sure you have ample opportunity for them to get to bed at a reasonable time for the nighttime as well. My next tip for you is to involve your child in the packing process as much as is possible for their current development. I ended up actually getting a little suitcase that is just for Stella. This is going to hold all of her activities. That way it was especially helpful for us to know that this is where everything goes. It went right under the seat in front of her, so we didn't have to take out our personal luggage just to look for whatever activity she had in here. And it gave her, again, a sense of control. And I mean, what child doesn't like a chance to open some zippers and open some flaps? When we had our delay, this in and of itself became an activity for her. While we were packing for the trip, I also allowed her to choose out of some options that I had presented for her, what type of clothes we would take, what kind of swimsuit she would take. So again, even though we were going to a completely different place, once we arrived, she already knew exactly the types of clothes and toys and everything that she had picked out, and she was incredibly excited to see them again. Remember that traveling and the trip is very much an adult-led activity. We decided where to go, we decided that we are going, we decide pretty much everything, and it breaks all routine and everything for our child's life. So I tried to look for opportunities in the entire process to give at least some control back to our toddler. So she helped me pick whatever outfits she wanted, and she helped me pick what activities we would put in here. Again, with my guidance, because I know there's going to be some activities that are going to keep her entertained for much longer and some that are going to take up way more space than they're worth. Now, I already mentioned that we would be taking her kid-safe headphones. Those are great for helping with ear pressure as well. Now, another tip that my mom had learned from my brother's pediatrician years ago is to make sure your child's nose is incredibly well cleared out. I'm talking saline spray, some kind of aspirator, making sure it's as clear as possible, because even a little bit of snot in here is going to really make the pressure that they feel in their ears a lot worse, because all of this is very much connected. I had also brought some more chewy snacks that she had practice with. We had some raisins and some gummies that, again, in case she did feel pressure in her ears and she wasn't interested in drinking water, we at least had the option of helping her relieve the pressure that way. The main item that got us through our car rides, waiting in the airport, the actual plane ride, and then the ride back to the hotel was our Yoto mini player. And not just the player by itself, but also having the case and all the cards there, as well as the headphones. While for us, the main purpose of the Yoto player is to listen to music, for her, it was an opportunity to practice zippers. It was an opportunity to do some posting work, getting cards in and out, as well as into the Yoto player itself. It was a chance to play with buttons. It was a chance to see what kind of music is actually on all of these cards. This one item kept her entertained the longest. Now, as all toddlers, she's incredibly enamored with stickers, so I took multiple variations because I wasn't sure what kind of sticker activity would actually work best on the plane for us personally. I took some window clings. These ended up not working too well on the plane itself because her hands were too short to actually reach the window on her own, but they were incredibly helpful in the hotel. She loved sticking the stickers all over the patio door, so they were still worthwhile to bring with us. I also brought a sticker activity book, so again, something where she was able to take the stickers off and actually do some of the activities that I know she enjoys. The book itself ended up being a bit too big to navigate with how tight the seats are on the plane, but again, this was another activity that was great to have once we arrived. So the stickers that ended up working best for us personally were the Melissa and Doug reusable puffy stickers. I had 3 different variations, so we were able to explore dinosaurs, the SeaWorld, and just animals. I did also let her pick 2 books that she really wanted to look at, and I made sure that they were books that she is usually very interested in exploring over and over again, so we had those as an option. We also took 2 pots of Play-Doh. That was going to provide a nice sensory input. We never ended up reaching for the Play-Doh, but I know it's a very successful item for a lot of families. So rather than taking colored pencils or crayons and paper, I chose this LCD writing tablet. That way we still had the option to draw and to color and to play Pictionary and count together, but it was all very self-contained and it was very slim and compact, and there was just the one pen that I had to take care of. We did also take our magnet tiles just in case you would want to build some items and build some houses and build some structures. We didn't end up using them on the plane, but we did use them in the hotel. And we also took a little doll for, again, more pretend play, open-ended play, and we took 2 additional outfits for her because this has been a very exciting opportunity for her. She's loved dressing and undressing the dolls, so I knew this would be something that would keep her entertained for a good amount of time as well. So in all the activities that I took, I made sure that they're items that she's usually gravitating towards at home and that they provide different types of stimulation and different ways for us to explore the same activity multiple ways. Now, another trick is any of the new items that I was purchasing, so the sticker books, the LCD writing tablet, even the Yoto case, she did see them and she knew that these would be items that we would get to utilize, but we did keep them in this bag, ready to go, and they were not open until we got on the plane, so there was still that sense of novelty and exploration once we got on the plane. If you're on an even longer plane ride, it's obviously great to also get up and give your child the chance to walk around and move around. This is also what we did when we had our long delay. We just got up and we started walking around the airport, We looked at all the different planes. We tried to guess which plane could be ours. We found a lot of people fixing and maintaining planes, so that was a lot of great observation to do there as well. And we found some more empty spots in the airport where we could really just let her run around and get a lot of her energy out. We really tried to get her to move her body around as much as possible before we would be stuck sitting in the same spot for 4+ hours. During this time, while we did explore some of the activities that we had packed, I tried to keep those as reserved for the plane as possible and find other ways to keep her stimulated in the airport itself. And while it's great to let your child feel that inner motivation and self-pride in everything they've done, I think it's just as important to encourage them in tough situations like this and let them know that, yeah, they're going through something that's quite difficult even for an adult, and they're doing a pretty fantastic job with it. For Stella personally, I found that she is incredibly proud of herself if I let her know that what she's currently doing is pretty tough for us as the adults as well. So as soon as I mentioned that mom and dad are currently really tired and we're also having a hard time, she felt incredibly proud that she is also going through this very difficult situation with us and doing so successfully. Two very common questions that I personally had, and I saw coming from some of you as well, is what to do if this overlaps with potty training or toilet learning, and what to do with a car seat or a stroller. Did we take those? Did we not? Let's talk about toilet learning first. Personally, we are very well on our way in the toilet learning journey. When we leave the house, we take this little toilet seat with us that allows us to either put it on a public restroom, or if we can't find anything, we're able to simply use it in our car with one of those liners. Now, the tricky thing with the airport and the plane is there's going to be times when we're stuck in lines when we really can't hop out just to go to the bathroom, or when we're on the plane waiting for takeoff, or we're waiting to land, or there's significant turbulence and we simply can't unbuckle and go to the bathroom. As adults, we can definitely control that situation a lot better than our kids can. So we ended up going with pull-ups for just that travel portion of our trip. But again, she still knows that the opportunity to use the bathroom is there, and if she really needs to, we will find whatever option we have to allow her to use it. But because I knew there was that chance that we would be stuck in a line or on the plane somewhere without the opportunity to actually use the bathroom, and that would be completely out of my control, it's exactly how I explained it to her as well. And if we don't have the opportunity to run to the bathroom for her to use it, we certainly wouldn't be in the position to change her. But again, we used the bathroom every opportunity that we had. But she also felt really reassured that if something does go wrong, her favorite clothes that she had chosen to feel nice and cozy during the plane ride weren't going to get soiled. Now, in terms of car seats and strollers, you do have the option, if you're interested, in renting both of those items at your destination the way that you would rent a car as well. We definitely wanted to have an umbrella stroller with us while we navigated the airport as well, so that's something that we brought with us and we checked at the gate with one of these bags. We also personally wanted to bring our own car seat and especially have the car seat on the plane, not only to protect it from getting damaged either at gate check or with the checked luggage, also because from everything that I had read, having the car seat on the plane was still going to be the safest option for her. Definitely make sure that your car seat is one that's approved for air travel, that you look at the size dimensions of your car seat versus the seats of the plane that you're going to be on to make sure that it's not significantly bigger, and also check how it is that you would be attaching your personal car seat to the plane once you get on the plane. There's essentially 4 options of how you can navigate the airport with the car seat. The cheapest way is to simply carry the car seat. It's definitely not a very comfortable option and definitely not one that's going to allow you to carry anything else with you, but it is an option. You can also get one of these car seat trolleys. It's definitely the lightest option, and if you don't have any other baggage that you're going to be carrying with you, this might be the easiest way to go. But if you're looking for a more hands-free way, there's essentially 2 options, which is this kind of bag that becomes a backpack, or simply attaching it with this kind of strap to a carry-on luggage. We tried out both of these 2 options, ended up being that the backpack was simply too difficult to navigate while making sure that you're not going to actually damage anyone in your nearby vicinity. So we personally went with the luggage strap. Because the aisles in the planes are so narrow, regardless of what option you go with, you're going to need to take the car seat in your hands and actually walk it down the aisle kind of sideways to make sure that you've practiced either getting it off your bag or unattaching it from the suitcase multiple times, so it's something you can do very quickly, and that you also have a game plan of who's going to carry what. And once the stroller is checked, you've got the child and you've got the car seat and any other luggage that you've got. I ended up having my husband with the car seat with anything that we could fit into the car seat going first. Stella walked right behind him and I was immediately behind her, holding onto her with one hand and carrying any other additional luggage right behind me. It's definitely not the most comfortable walk, so definitely make sure that you're boarding with the families before the plane is full of people. Once we're at the destination, there's a couple additional things that we did to really make the experience go as smoothly as possible. The main of which is to create an environment that was as similar to our home as possible, in the sense that she was still able to access the things that she's used to accessing. So we made sure to find a little drawer that she could access independently where we would keep her clothes. We set up a little laundry bag bag where she could put her soiled laundry, and we chose one of the chairs in the hotel room to essentially be her little shelf where her activities would be, so she had free independent access to those activities. We set it up right next to that window so she could play with the window clings on the window as well. In the bathroom, I also have one of those hanging toiletry bags, so anything that she can safely use I had in the very lowest pouch. So again, when it was time to brush her teeth, she's used to getting her own toothbrush and toothpaste with us. It was right there and available for her. So even though we were in a new environment, in a place that's completely different, she still had some ways to feel control over that entire situation. I'll have links to everything that we used while traveling that's really helped us over in my Amazon storefront under the travel specific section. I hope you and your family enjoy and have safe travels, and until next time, I hope you stay safe.